Hello and welcome to Sportish, where we look at life through the lens of sport. My name is Georgie Trickett and this is another sports short dropping into your summer holiday feed. This week, we're talking about what it's like to be the worst player on a team or the worst in a squad and why it's actually so important, not just as kids, but also as adults, to push through that uncomfortable feeling and to make sure you understand why you're feeling uncomfortable in that position. It's another chat we had with our dear friend Rebecca Sparrow that we wanted to share with you in this feed. We just think there's so many great things that not just kids but grown-ups can take out of this conversation. As always, we love getting your feedback. So feel free to shoot us an email or send us a DM. All those details are in our show notes, and share it with a friend if you think it's something that they might relate to, that they might need to hear.
When somebody says, I'm the worst player on a team, what does that mean? And is it factually correct? Is that a story that you're telling yourself? Are other people making you feel like you're the worst player and actually you're the same level as most other people on the team? You know, this is what we need to get into here. Do you like the team but you feel like you're a bad player, or you actually hate the team and you need to be in a different environment? So this is all, I think, what we want to talk about. But I'm looking at you two and I'm thinking, clearly as the less active, I'm not going to say sporty, person here, I've definitely had this experience of being the kind of the dead weight on a team. But have you two had that experience? I'm looking at, Libby, you haven't. Poor Georgia, you have.
Obviously, Georgie has.
Naturally, in not becoming an Olympian, I definitely was the worst on the team.
Look, because I loved sport so much, it didn't really bother me if I was the worst. Like netball, I was not the best player on that team when I played for 1 year in grade 6. But But
how did you handle that? So I
stopped playing.
Okay. But this is what we're talking about, because we know that there are people listening who are feeling right now, I am the worst player on my team.
Yeah.
So Libby's in grade 6. She's like, I'm the worst netball player on this team. And she's like, I'm out of here. That's not what we do. Not be a Libby. Don't do a Libby.
You might be the worst person on the netball team and therefore you go, do you know what? I don't want to play netball, but maybe I could play touch footy.
Yes. Right. True.
So I think,
good point.
Is it just that you're in the wrong sport or this sport isn't for you? And that's okay.
For me, being one of the best on the team was an important part.
Was a stumbling block.
It was an important element of what I was trying to do with my sport. That was something that engaged me. The highly competitive nature of sport, that's something that lights me up. I wasn't even the worst, I don't think, but I wasn't the best. And so for me, that involved trying to find different sports, which allowed me to play loads of sports because I just loved being active. So I did touch football, I did rowing, I did gymnastics and tennis and athletics and dancing. So I tried every sport, and swimming was the one that I kept coming back to, basically.
Do you think as well, for you to be in a team and have that dynamic around you, did that help you work out whether you liked being in a team environment as opposed to being an individual athlete? Like, was that a key factor in you finding your sport?
Yes, 100%. And that's the thing, like we have to understand what sport is to you. So do you just like being in that team environment and being lifted up by one another, and, you know, one person has a bad game but you have a great game, and then you have a bad game, they have a great game, and you can all work together and support each other and encourage each other. Whereas for me, I just wanted all of the, what's the word?
Everything's on you.
All of the winning is up to me.
But you live or die by, the expression is you live or die by your own sword, which
Correct.
is if you have a bad day, it's on you. And if you have a good day, it's on you. And it's nothing to do, there's no reliance whatsoever on other people.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that. Like, there are definitely athletes who are individual athletes and there are athletes who are team athletes. And that's fine. You've got to find what resonates with you.
You touched on something there around what's driving you to do your sport. And I think I learned that I did a whole season of swimming when I was in grade 12. I'd always done a bit of swimming, but I decided I was going to apply myself and see if I could make the team. And I was acutely aware that I was not very good. I was definitely bottom of the squad, and I ended up not making the team, which on the face of it sounds very sad, but actually I had loved that season of swimming. I had just got so much out of swimming with my friends and being with my friends. There was also breakfast provided after training. I loved that.
You're our Labrador. You're motivated by food.
I'm motivated by food. I loved that whole environment, and it taught me a really important lesson. I didn't actually know how I would feel if I wasn't selected, and it wasn't until I didn't get selected that I realized that that was okay. What I had got out of that process, what I'd wanted, even though I was arguably one of the worst in that squad. I've had other situations where I've been the worst in a team, and my own expectations of that experience have meant that I've been very stressed about that and worried and anxious and not enjoyed playing the sport. And that's because I wanted to do well, but I clearly wasn't up to that same standard. So my own expectations of myself then impacted my experience of that sport.
And what's an example of when you were been in a team? What's a team you've been in where you have been?
In a softball team where I've had to play up a grade or play in a team that I wouldn't usually play in, and I've been put into that environment and I can see that I'm the weakest link. And for me, that just creates a level of, oh God, what if I drop the ball? Or what happens if I strike out? And how's that going to work? And I become my own worst enemy. And I think other people can see in your energy that you're not enjoying it. And
Because you're second guessing yourself.
absolutely, your confidence is completely gone, and you're probably not a very fun player to be around. There's something to be said. You can be the worst player in a team. That doesn't mean you're not a team asset. You can absolutely still be a team asset if you can have the confidence to be okay with what your place is.
Because there are so many other important elements to each player, whether it's attitude or whether it's, enthusiasm and, your ability to lift other people up when they're feeling.
Because the captain of a team is not always the best player in the team.
Absolutely not.
That's true, isn't it? So it's often the person who has an ability to bring people together and to inspire.
Yeah. To lead
And inspire people.
And you have to remember the coach has chosen you. You've been picked in the team. So you might have been the 9th pick or the 13th pick or the 15th pick, but you've been picked. You're in there. So you quite consciously, and I'm not saying this is easy, this is incredibly hard, but you have a conscious decision to make as to how you play that role. You can either sit there and be like, I'm the worst, this is the worst, I'm so bad at this, and that's the story you're telling yourself in your head. Or you can be like, oh my God, I made the team, right? I'm going to make sure these bats are lined up beautifully and that the water bottles are filled, and I'm going to be the sparkliest person on the bench and cheering everybody on because that's the role I'm going to play. And you almost become like a self-fulfilling prophecy then. You're definitely on the team.
The thing that I really used to focus on when I was swimming was using a thing called a power phrase. So when you're in your head and you're like, I'm the worst, this is terrible, I shouldn't be here, I don't belong, I won't win, or all of those negative thought trains that get into our head, I would come back to my power phrase. And so that involved for me working with my coach. And initially I had a lot of illness as a swimmer, so I was pretty lucky with injuries, but I used to get a lot of asthma and lung-related issues. So before the 2003 World Championships, I worked with my coach to develop a power phrase to focus my thinking. So that became, I'm strong, I'm fit, I'm healthy, therefore I'm fast. And I used to repeat that over and over again in my head at competitions, because then I was getting out of that negative spiral that I would get into to try and get the best out of myself, because at the end of the day, that's what competition or carnivals or, matches are all about, is about getting the best out of ourselves on each day, whatever that might be. And so then I developed it because I used to get distracted by my competitors and worrying about what they were doing. And so it became, I'm strong, I'm fit, I'm healthy, therefore I'm fast. No doubts, no regrets. I'm just here to have fun. And that was just the perfect reminder of what sport was to me and what I actually wanted to get out of it. Yes, I wanted to be fast. Yes, I wanted to have fun. So those two elements and creating your own power phrase that resonates with you and what sport means to you and what being a part of any particular team means to you is just so powerful in training our brains, because our brains need training just as much as our bodies need training to focus on what is important rather than getting distracted by negative thoughts.
I mean, it could be I'm strong, I'm fit, I'm healthy, and I belong here, or I'm strong, I'm fit, I'm healthy, and I'm an important part of this team.
Correct. It's not the worst thing to be the worst player at first.
Such a good point.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So when you're forced into a situation where other people are better than you, that's something that lifts you. That's something that makes you better, that makes you learn from people who might have more experience or more knowledge, or like that's the stuff that I want to surround myself with, people who are better than me. And it can be really intimidating and it can be really overwhelming and it can be something that makes you go, oh, I just wish I was better. But being in those environments, you lift to that level.
So are you saying if you get yourself into that situation and you're looking around going, I am the worst at the moment, to really...
That's key. I'm the worst at the moment.
Oh, God, that is key.
At the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to also really unpack what you're reacting to.
Yeah.
Are you reacting to the fact that you're the worst and you'll never be the best and you're sitting at the bottom? Or are you reacting to the fact that this is a hard challenge?
Yeah.
And not to shy away from a challenge?
Don't shy away from it.
Oh, I hadn't thought about it like that. And that's so true.
Yeah. Because that's how we as humans get better. It's when we're around people who are better than us.
That's how you grow.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Sportish. I love Libby's power phrase. It's so important. That concept of a power phrase is actually something I've applied not just in sport, but in other aspects of my life where I'm feeling incredibly daunted and overwhelmed by a situation, and just having something that I repeat to myself is so helpful in just centering my thoughts and going forward despite whatever fear I might be feeling. We will be back in your ears next week. We're hoping you're having a wonderful January. It's not too hot. Maybe you're watching the tennis. Definitely looking forward to getting back into your ears with some new conversations in 2026. As always, you can find us at Being Sportish on Instagram. You can also check us out on YouTube, and we'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye. We would like to acknowledge and give thanks to the traditional owners of the land we record this podcast on, the Yagara and Turrbal people,
and their continued connection to the land and waterways on which we meet.